That's how I start, and it gets so much better. And I just want every single person to know here today that you are loved, that you are vital, that no matter what words have been spoken over you, if they're negative, they're not the truth. And you can have the power to throw them off. You know, some children have been told, you know, I didn't want you. I didn't want you. Can you imagine that? I was told all kinds of things, and I let those words sink so deep, and they changed who I was and who I thought I could be. And I really thought I could be nothing, and in the end I thought I might as well just be dead. But that's not the way we're supposed to live. And love heals, and we can rise up and do things we never ever dreamed we could. We can go through incredible challenges and rise above, and God's love can reach us in the very pit. There's no place too deep for God's love, mercy, and grace to reach us. And I just want to tell you that miracles happen. And when I was diagnosed with cancer for the first time in my life, I decided I'm not going to listen to those words. They said that, you know, I would never race again. I would never be able to make Team USA again. And basically, I should just kind of get ready to die. And I suddenly thought, no, that I'm not listening to those words. So this is an overcomer story. This touches on every single thing. It touches on failure. You'll read about failure and shame and triumph and triathlon, and it's just got basically everything. Sometimes you'll be laughing out loud hysterically. I still do when I read my own story. And it's really, I just want to tell you that I did this for you and for every single person who's ever faced a challenge. So, you know, just share this with a person who might be going through a hard time, because I know it will lift them up. I know it will give every single person hope, because this is just a story that God helped breathe life into. The other thing that's really fun about this story is every chapter I start with a Bible verse and then I start with a quote. And I had all these famous people who wrote quotes. But unfortunately, I learned that you can't just quote somebody. So after I had my whole manuscript ready, they're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, what? I can't quote Helen Keller? She's dead. Oh my gosh. So I had to go back and get quotes from real people. So it turned out to be a blessing. You know, there's always a blessing. So for example, this one is from my brother. It says, "Even the darkest of nights finds no hiding place from the power of the rising sun." Isn't that extraordinary? And then you read, you know, Stephen, former U.S. Air Force officer, ophthalmologist, lover of light, music, dreams, and family. So each person who has a quote, and some of the people have been through enormous challenges, but I think those quotes are really going to bless you. And so I wanted to just read, I mean, it is also about cancer and some of the things that, you know, I went through. So here's just another little excerpt. 3 days after the Westchester Triathlon, I faced my very last chemo, and the hour couldn't come fast enough. I thought it was my very last chemo. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But anyway, how different it was from my first chemotherapy. I sat in the car giddy with joy as Meg drove me. I was already flying high from the race, and I couldn't control my positive energy. The months of treatment had washed away my fear. Now I simply viewed it as a chance for life. I skipped in and made my way to the private room they had reserved for me. It was 11:01. I noticed again the pattern of multiple ones on the digital clock, and I realized I'd seen 11:01, 11:10, or 1:11 often during these long 11 a.m. chemo appointments. Just an endearing memento from this time in my life that would quickly be over with. And you'll find out some mighty miracles that goes on. And this is just another one. I mean, anyway, How about this? I'm at the London World Championships, and something always happens to me. Embarrassing. Always. Yesterday I was swimming, and I told this to my group last night. I was swimming, and I just walked past all the men playing basketball and into this, the swimming pool. And for some reason, I just decided not to have my towel around my waist yesterday. And so I get into the pool, and I'm adjusting, my hat and getting ready to dive in, and a woman comes and she goes, "I just want you to know that your bathing suit is ripped from the waist all the way down." Yeah, totally, butt exposed, I mean, unbelievable. And I was wondering why two guys were right next to my lane, and the whole pool was open. So, just like never, if there's something that can happen, it will. So here you go. For some reason, I just wanted to be away from all the commotion. A lone tree not too far off in the distance drew me in. The leaves underneath looked warm, soft, inviting. I spread out my towel beneath it, shielded a bit from the rain, and promptly lay down. Immediately, the smell of dog dew filled my nose. In a matrix-like gymnastic move, I catapulted to my feet, all the while hoping that the smell came from someplace other than beneath the one and only towel. Standing, I held the towel away from me like a practiced bullfighter and flipped it around. Feces covered half the towel. I backed away and stepped directly into another mound of dog dung, which oozed off the sides of my sneakers. I grabbed my triathlon bag to hightail it, but it hadn't escaped the manure massacre either. It was as if every dog in London had taken a crap under this beautiful tree. So this is just my life. You're going to read all kinds of things. And what's also I put at the very end, I put in some questions for reflection. So if you wanted to do a group together, you could do a group together, a book group or something, or just for yourself. And so there's a lot of questions, and they go along with different chapters. But for example, one of them is, have you put limits on yourself? Is there something you thought you could never do but want to do? What would happen if you threw off the self-imposed limits? So this is all throughout the back. And then I have a lot of references for people to look at whether they have, cancer or an eating disorder, or perhaps they have lymphedema, or they've been abused or something. But, for so many years I lived with this secret of an eating disorder. A dietitian traveling around the country, being asked to speak all over, and living a lie. I was making myself sick. So quite often I would be speaking with bile on my tongue, and I didn't know where I could turn. And I just am here to tell you that secrets love the darkness, and when you speak your secret and you share, healing floods you. And I'm so happy that I can just tell you everything, including my bathing suit story yesterday. And it's just so great, so let's all live in freedom, and let's all just love each other just the way we are, because we are all special and vital. And thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy every single second of this book.